I've had the worst luck with motorized sliders for the past 5 years. This is my Edelkrone Slider 1v2, and this is a Magic Carpet Pro, which is, by the way, a fantastic slider, and don't actually have any problems with it. The only problems I have with it is the Genie II Linear, which is the motor that you use to do pre-programmed motions. And so here's what the situation is. This slider, I've had it for about 5 years, but after about 2, it started to give me problems where it moves, but then it stops, it beeps, and then the app says, okay, slider can't move, contact us. So I did that, and their engineers were actually responsive, which is great. They gave me a couple tips on like, okay, adjust these screws and stuff, and it will be fine. So it did fix most of the problems at that time. But since then, it got progressively worse. And now it doesn't matter what I do with those screws, they don't change anything because I actually, I had to remove it so much that it's almost, falling out. So I tried to go all the way in. I tried everything that I could possibly do. I followed the instructions again that they sent me years ago. And now what it does, it doesn't even reset to the point where it should be. Most of the time, when you put the battery in, the carriage should move all the way to the right and then beep twice to let you know that it's like ready to go. But what it does now, it sometimes does it, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it just stops halfway through and beeps like it's ready to go. And then when you go into the app, you can't move it right anymore, but you can move it left. And in other situations where it does actually reset all the way to the right, like it did now, what happens is it doesn't matter if I move the control to the right, the slider still moves to the left. Even if I do left, then it still moves to the left. So either way, it just moves to the left. I can't move it to the right. I have the actual remote, and that behaves the exact same way. So if I connect it to the remote that you can buy separately, it does the exact same thing. And if you get to the end, let's listen to this. This is what it does. Like, it doesn't cut off. So like it somehow is unable to detect that it reached the end point. And at this point, I can't move to the right. So if I take the battery out and do a reset, I'm gonna put in a different battery just in case that one is the problem, even though I tried it with a dummy battery and everything. See, it just reset itself. It beeped twice. That means that it knows that it's on the far right. And I can't move it. It doesn't move. It doesn't move to the right. If I move it to the left, it makes the weird sound. So it's just totally broken. And I don't really know what to do with it. I'm gonna reach out to them again and see if they can get some help, or maybe I can send it out to fix it, because otherwise this slider is in like perfect condition. Like, there's no damage, it's never been dropped. I always mount it on a tripod. It literally has zero problems. There's something internally wrong that I cannot fix on my own. And then moving over to the other one, this slider is awesome. The Magic Carpet Pro is a fantastic slider that has a built-in flywheel. It's awesome, I love it. The problem is that there's a design flaw in the Genie II Linear. This is the Genie II Linear, and I have this tape on it because of the problem. If I take this off, you'll see what the problem is. This notch that's supposed to open the quick release plate breaks. And so now you can't really open it unless you try to like put your finger in and like do it this way, but it still doesn't lock. Even though if you do this, it still doesn't actually lock because there's nothing, holding this piece just fell out. Nothing actually pushing the plate, the metal plate in to hold in the quick release plate. Because that's what should happen, is that that plastic should push this in. You can see the movement on that silver metal plate. If I push it in with my finger, it does move and it becomes bigger, right? So this is how it holds the quick release. And when you lift it off, it should totally like disappear like that. And then you can release it. The problem is since this is broken, you can't do that. And this is my second replacement unit, and I just received number 3 today. This is literally unopened. So I have my original box that was still branded Syrp, not Manfrotto, before they bought them. That was a little bit of a year ago. And then this is the first replacement. This one is branded Manfrotto now, as you can see. And that's this unit itself. And this one also broke exactly the same way as the first one did. And then I just received the third one today. That's also Manfrotto branded. It does feel different, which is why I'm making the video, because it doesn't feel like there's anything in the bottom of this box. I can only feel weight on the top. And I have this kitchen scale to measure them out, because I think before I had this issue the last time, they actually sent me a totally new unit. And I don't think they do that anymore, because my original one that only is missing the unit itself, but everything else is inside, because they only wanted me to ship back the unit, not the whole thing. This one is exactly 2 pounds. So all the chargers, the rope and everything, 2 pounds. If I take my replacement, this one is 1 pound, 15.8 ounces. So literally almost the same. And if I put the unit on top to measure it, it's 3 pounds and 4 ounces, 3.4. So compare this to the brand new one that literally just came in today. This is 2 pounds and 4 ounces. So the difference between my old unit is exactly 1 pound. So I'm assuming that this one does not have anything in the bottom. Now, I originally didn't really want to open this new unit because I honestly just lost trust in this whole system. And because both of these failed on client shoots, I just don't want to use them anymore. And I actually don't offer a slider in my kit right now because of this, because I have 2 non-functioning sliders that I can't trust on set. Even though I have the support gear and everything for this, I even have the jib, the L bracket for the Edelkrone one to do pan tilt and everything. Like, it's a full kit. But unfortunately, the slider piece is broken, and until I can get this figured out, either to fix it or buy a new one, I'm not gonna offer it. But I don't really wanna buy a new one, because if it's gonna behave the exact same way, it's gonna break the same way, it's non-fixable, I don't want to get it. So this one is essentially parked. And then this one is only being used as a manual slider. It does work really well with the flywheel. I do like it, that the quick release, like I can put plates on my video heads and just, pop them in. I can take it off of that tripod that has a 75mm ball. It's really easy to take that off and then just pop it in here if I want to, or I can use a different one that I have as a spare. That's good. I like the slider. This is a 36-inch Magic Carpet Pro. And I do actually have Kupo stands for these, so it's really robust. It doesn't move if you're doing any type of slider shots or almost dolly moves. The behavior is really close to a Dana dolly. Obviously, I'm not saying you can put that weight, that load on it, but for my rigs that I use here, it's perfectly fine. The only disappointment is this little tiny thing that makes this whole thing pretty much unusable. I still have to send this one back, obviously, which is why I'm taping it, and it is ready to go. But I don't know if I should open this, but since I'm making this video, I may as well just do it and see what they sent, because I honestly don't know what to think anymore, simply because I've been burned twice with this thing. So I'm gonna go ahead, push all of these out of the way, because, the accessories are usable, obviously, but I don't know what to expect in this, because there seems to be a bunch of stuff missing. I don't really know how to open this, honestly. I may have to get a knife or something. I can grab a scissor. Let's see. This is a weird tape. It's paper. And it doesn't have like a starting tab or anything. So Okay, so I got this thing open, and let's see what they actually sent me. So it is kind of interesting because it does look like okay, so they did send at least one extra QR plate. This one is on the top. The unit itself, and nothing else. Yes, so I was correct. So this is most likely a refurbished unit, not a new one, because there is some differences that I can tell. Yeah. Okay, so there is actually problems with this because the release thing, okay, that's good. So it's a good thing I made this video, because this thing, other than the plate that always breaks, and I can't really, let me see if they changed something in the design, because I'm actually curious if they did. But one thing that's actually broken is, okay, so PC. Okay, so it doesn't look like they changed anything. This is the same thing. It is literally the same thing. It has all the same part numbers printed on it and everything. But that's not really the problem here, because this thing is damaged. So let's totally just forget that this thing is failing all the time. And they did send the battery. I'm gonna take that off for now. But here's the problem. The bottom piece is different. The new one has a brass insert, the old one has a silver one. But that's not really the problem. I'm gonna try to hold this up to make it easy to visible. This button here that releases the rope is not the same as this one. Look how different that is. Just by this one sticks out way more than this one, and the little pin, there's a tiny little silver pin that you see next to it. When you push this in, that's supposed to come out, right? So this one, that pin is bent. I know it's hard to see, but that pin is bent, and if I push this, nothing happens. It does not go in. That pin is totally destroyed. So basically this thing is useless for me, because now I have to reach out again to get them to send me another one, and this is in fact not a full kit. So yeah, basically the one problem solved, but the other one is not. So even though this thing now seems to work, even though I'm not super confident that putting in a plate, I'm not even, honestly, I'm afraid to push this in because I feel like I'm gonna break it immediately. Yeah, because like closing it is fine, but opening it is the problem. It does pop, and that's, like, I'm really not confident that this is gonna hold again. Honestly, I'm super afraid to use this thing. So, oh shoot, what is going on? Okay, the quick release plate does not want to come out of this thing at all. What is happening? Okay, this is getting very frustrating. Yeah, it does not come out. It feels like on this one side here, it does not want to release the ball. So even if I pull that thing, it does lift on this side, it does lift, but it doesn't lift on the other end. Oh, this is gonna be a terribly long video, and I can't even pull this out. So I don't even know what to do at this point. I can maybe put something on it with a 1/4 screw, like a cheese plate, and then pull up on the cheese plate to pull it out. Maybe that's a solution, I don't know. Maybe we can use this. So I have this 15mm rod that's basically, it has a 1/4 in it. So I should be able to do that. Yeah. So what is going on? Yes, okay, yeah, that ball, this ball is stuck. It doesn't release. All the other ones kind of fall in, but this one is not. So they fixed the problem, but they did not fix the problem. And now I have to reach back out again and tell them that this is not a solution because this thing has not been QC'd at all. And it's broken because now I won't be able to attach the rope because this thing is totally busted. This button should be flat. This button should be totally flat and stick out way more. I'm gonna show you guys the other one again. So look at how much more this one on my head sticks out compared to the other one, and this one is crooked too. So like it's like not level. And if I look at really close at the thing, you can see that the pin, when I push the button on this one, you can see how the tiny little metal pin is moving. You can see how the metal pin is moving up and down as I push it to release. When I do it on this one, there's nothing. The metal pin doesn't move. It's stuck, and it's like in a weird angle. Like I'm not sure if that's visible on the camera, but the little metal pin is actually at like a, oh yeah, you can see that here. So that metal pin is at an angle and it doesn't move. It looks like they bent it when they put this thing apart, or it looks like they bent this when they put this thing together. So I'm not even gonna worry about this. I have to open another ticket and see what they say. I know this is a long video, I apologize, and I know this is frustrating, but if you're facing the same problem, I feel you. You know, when this whole thing started happening, I did start looking around, and I did find a bunch of information from other people, and you don't really have to look, you know, that hard to find these issues. All you gotta do, and I'm gonna show you in a second, is just go to B&H Photo, and that's where I bought my first one, and look at the reviews. These are the reviews on B&H Photo for the Genie II Linear. And I did buy this. You can see that I bought it in September 28, 2022, which is just getting close to the 1 year mark. And look at this. Customer photos show the exact same problem. There's one. There's another one. They all break the exact same way, every single time. And then if you read the review, that's what they say. Huge design flaw, RMA. This should be a metal part because this is what happens. And then I went to Lens Rental, and guess what? Lens Rental is selling a unit that is rated at the lowest price or lowest category that they have, and it says plate lock is broken. Now this thing is fixable, but I don't think they want to fix it because it's just too much hassle. So I do have to give credit to Manfrotto though, because when you actually start looking, I did found manfrottospares.com where you can put in your serial number. This is the unit number of the Genie II that they sell in the US. And they are actually selling this part separately. So as you can see here, this is the RSY 0038-1058, plate locking level for Genie Linear. And this is actually both pieces, not just a plastic thing. It is $48 plus shipping. I think it comes from the UK, so it's going to take you some time. But when you go to the service manuals on manfrotto.com, you can find the spare parts and you just click the same thing. You can open up the PDF. Look at what it says. So these are all the individual parts, and this unit is here. Well, for once it says spare parts necessarily managed and replaced by authorized Manfrotto center. Only use silicone grease. Sure. But here's the thing. They sell this in sets of 5 to them because they go through so many that I think this is just the only way that they can fix this. They have to literally send them sets of 5s to replace these things, because there are so many people who have this problem with this unit. So I don't know if this will actually get you 5 sets when you buy it, because if it is for $48, I can live with that. This unit technically retails for $1,100. Like right now it would be $1,100. I know there are sales and stuff and then you can get it cheaper, but they still technically sell this unit for $1,100 that has this massive design flaw that they haven't updated in years. And the only solution that you can see is in the service center to have sets of 5s sent to you to replace. And I'm assuming that they're going to charge you a lot if you do this outside of warranty. So now I want to inquire about that and see what they say, because now I don't even know if I want to keep using this thing. Thanks for sticking out to the end in this video. I know it was long and I know that this is frustrating, but if you made it this far, you probably are facing the exact same thing with this Genie II Linear. And now I have 3 boxes of broken sliders on my kitchen counter that is literally like probably the worst product I've ever used in my whole like video career, because there's literally no reason for a product that cost $1,100 to be this bad after years and years and years without a revision or a possibility to send out for a service where they replace it with a metal lever that is like CNC machined aluminum, because the part is not really hard and it's not really big. They should be able to do this. And I just don't know why they don't do it. The slider itself is really good, and that's still gonna set you back, you know, a lot of money, because I think even their base models are like $800. This is definitely more than $1,000. This Pro version with the 36-inch rails. But the head itself costing $1,100 is a major disappointment, and I just don't really see myself trusting this in any type of client shoots anytime soon, unless I can find somebody who has a CNC machine and then maybe scan this part and then copy it. Because I am willing to take this apart, the brand new one, and just take the piece out and literally let's do like a 3D scan and have somebody machine it, drill the holes, put the pins in, and see if we can make this thing work. Like, I don't really see any other option on how to make this thing last, because otherwise the unit is perfect. I like the app, the unit is fine, the motion is fine, it works, it's quiet, but for some reason this one thing, the latch with the QR plate, is broken. The only other thing, the only other solution I can see here is if you never take the QR plate out, but then you have to decide which screw you want to keep in. So like, is it a 1/4 or a 3/8? And your only accessories are the ones that you can rotate on without getting stuck in the motor. So if that works for you, if you're just gonna add a video head and then like never take it off, then fine. You can probably pull this off and it will work. But if you want to change stuff, for example, I always attach my RS2 Pro for this with a D-tap base plate, essentially a power plate that lives on there. That's how, if I do motions, I can still use tracking with the slider, because there's no pan function in this. This is literally just a motor. Then it may work if you just keep that on the whole time. But I do want to be able to go manual and switch it back to like a normal video head if I wanted to. So unfortunately, this isn't working, and I'm gonna reach out and see what they say and how they solve this problem. And after, I guess, a solution, I'll probably do a follow-up video. So if you're in this situation, you know what to do, or you don't know how they handle it. Thanks for sticking out to the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.